Closed doors, I'm a fool for your love.
When you and me worked at Pret a Manger together, didn't we?
We did.
It feels like a lifetime ago.
It was a really long time ago. I can't believe... I mean, I worked there for over a year, which is pretty mental, actually. I think that's probably my longest job that I've had. I just quit my job, actually. I was working at a pub here in Exeter, and then was on furlough, obviously, for like months, and then was just like, as soon as I went back, and I didn't really even plan to do this, but on my first shift back, I was just like stood outside, probably in my very uncomfortable new shoes. I was just about to go in to start my first shift, and just went in and was like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm not coming in. And,
Why?
and the guy there was like, okay, like, why? And I was like, oh, I'm just not coming back, I'm really sorry.
You just didn't like it?
No, it was fine. I think I'm just... I've been trying like over the last... Yeah, I guess like... Well, I've been trying for like years, but kind of over the last year, like specifically, I've been just trying to make it more as like a freelance artist. And...
I feel like you and me are quite similar. We never really stay in one job for too long.
No.
Because like at most, you and me stay in a regular job for like a year. And then, like, you and me have sort of got a bit of a vivid imagination. And after a couple of months, we start thinking, oh, how can I escape this place? Yeah. And what's out there for me?
Well, I think, like, lockdown actually was really good for that, for me. Like, because suddenly you're in a position where doing pub work, like, isn't actually very feasible because you can't go to the pub. But doing like the kind of artwork that I do, like applying for funding and stuff, like that's kind of more feasible than ever, and I'm finding out more and more that that's what I can do. So suddenly that doesn't feel like a weird, stupid pipe dream.
Yeah.
It's like, actually no, this is something that I can just, not easily because it is really difficult. I still don't know how I'm going to make it work, and I might just go and find another job in another pub.
Well, I guess you need something to sort of maintain finances.
Yeah.
So when did you really start kicking off like that whole creative aspects of work? Like when did you seriously start taking that seriously and think I'm going to go for it? Because that was quite a big move to make. Because I remember when you worked at Pret, I remember seeing one of your first little theatre companies. Your Titanic parody.
Yeah.
I remember seeing that. That was like really funny and really good.
Thank you. Yeah.
I remember that being one of like your first few ones you did. But you've done quite a few since then, haven't you?
Yeah, I think so, and I think it's so like making stuff like doing spoken words, which I've been doing for a few years, which I started doing at uni. Like I went to uni to study script writing, thought I'd be a playwright. Then I found out that people write down poetry and speak it out loud, which is not something that I'd ever seen done before, like spoken word.
Yeah.
So then started doing that because it's a lot easier than writing a play, because you can bash out a poem in minutes, whereas plays take like a long fucking time to write.
Is that what you enjoy most, the writing aspect?
No, I'd say I enjoy performing a lot more than writing.
Yeah.
I think that's it as well. Like I was writing just for myself. It's not something where you're like, cool, I'm gonna sit down and think about all the characters and think about the synopsis and think about this and that, and then it's like, well, then what? I'm gonna submit this script to like the royal court, and they're gonna be like, well, no, fuck off.
Because you've got to pitch your ideas to get your funding, don't you?
Yeah. So when it's just me and I'm performing my own work and I can do stuff for myself, like, that seems a lot more. It just
manageable.
Seems like yeah. So that's something that I.
So when you do that, do you like sort of get the funding for yourself?
Yes.
So you just like you work and you save up and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I get a lot of my funding through the Arts Council.
The Arts Council.
Yeah.
How much do they typically supply?
So like most of my income now is as a direct result of Arts Council England, which I think is like pretty. Yeah,
that's good.
And I think if you're like a theatre maker or of a certain level, then that's not. That's pretty typical because you don't actually really make money like doing things. I could go touring a show around, but unless I'm like really incredible,
unless you're selling out, a lot of places.
Yeah, like a really like shit hot like stand-up comedian or something. Like, there's no way going around being a like performance poet I'm gonna make any real money. And also as well, because I can't go around like charging people. When I put on a show in Exeter, I can't charge £10 a ticket because who would want to come to that? Like, people in Exeter don't want to be paying that.
I guess you just got to build up your name first.
Yeah, well, it's a bit of that, but it's a bit of like, well, if I get my Arts Council grant, I'm paying myself, I can subsidise the tickets. Basically, I make a bit of income from the tickets, and that goes back into the
business.
You kind of like adjust for that tiny amount of income that you're going to make. Sorry, this is really boring.
No, I like listening about how like businesses rise and how they start off. So what made you like go for it? Like what made you go from, this is just an idea I've got in the back of my mind, fuck it, let's just see how it goes?
I mean, literally like maybe 5 years ago or so, 5 or 6 years ago, when I moved to Exeter, I was living with this group of girls who were a theatre company together.
Oh yeah.
And they were the kind of people who were just like really, really good, like really on it. Like when it came to, cool, we've got an idea for a show, like you go through Arts Council, like you get funding, you approach venues, you blah 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 blah. And they did all of that, and kind of, whenever they saw me gigging or something, would be like, well, you can do that as well.
Yeah.
And actually,
and you just joined up with them, really.
Yeah, and it seems like a world that's quite like impenetrable, and there is like a definite, I feel really lucky because I got my foot in the door with, even like writing my first Arts Council application. Like I had to have so much help writing it. It took me months and months and months, and now I can write Arts Council applications in like a few days.
See, when you spoke about getting your foot through the door, for me the door is so big and the lock is so big, I don't even bother trying to get my foot through. That's why I do this podcast, because so for me, I know I'm not going to get my foot in the door, so I'm just going to make my own little world.
But film is different.
Where I can control.
Like, film seems like
film, it's not just about talent, it's about also who you know. It's about whether you're willing to relocate. And as soon as my parents kicked me out, they sort of shot me in the foot if I ever wanted to, like, let's say, go on film location or like trying to get a runner position, because runner position is basically where like you go around and do like the little tasks throughout the day for the bosses, make sure everything's up and running. It's a very important job, but you can work your way up.
Yeah,
but they're fixed term contracts, so maybe they'll last a month, 2 months, 3 months, maybe a couple of weeks. But because I've got rent to pay, I can't really risk just going for a couple weeks of work and then coming back and having no money to pay rent.
No, and I guess you're hardly in the epicenter of like,
Yeah, I'm in Exeter as well.
Yeah, people aren't making a lot of TV or a lot of film here.
Well, you got to apply for stuff like in Manchester and London. And that's the one thing I regret about when I went to I don't think I was lazy, but I knew I could have worked harder. But hindsight is 20/20, I guess. I mean, when I look back at it now, I wish I hadn't spent as much time going on nights out and getting with girls and going to the gym. I should have probably like buckled down and like, but I just didn't know what I wanted then as well.
Yeah, that's fair enough. But like, I mean, when I came out of uni, like, I didn't really have anything to show for it at all. I don't even think. Well, maybe not. I honestly don't even think like any of the skills that I learnt so much like helped me to. But it's different because it's just like cool. Like I can just now I'm in a position where I can just like make my own work. You can't. Well, you can just make your own films, but that's not.
I'm not making money off it.
Yeah, and it's like such a bigger industry. I mean, it's an industry.
Yeah.
The world of like spoken word poetry isn't.
But I guess it shows how much you and I really like it. The fact that we're doing some of it for free. Yeah. Like the fact that we're taking the risk on it, where we could be using our spare time just to go to the pub like everyone else, and just do Netflix stuff, but instead we're just trying to sort of craft a piece of something for ourselves. Because like my dream job would be to like have a successful YouTube channel, make whatever video or podcast I want, and make my own money off that. That would be a dream for me, a dream job. That'd be amazing.
Yeah, that would be sweet.
No manager giving me a schedule when I have to go in and go out. No one telling me to do mundane tasks. No customers. Just making videos, having people sit down and chat to me, or making silly videos. That sounds like an ideal life for me. What about you? Like your own theatre company?
No, I'm thinking that I might like. Again, this is very boring and technical, but I think I might turn my. So I run this organisation. I keep saying it's an organisation.
Yeah.
I don't know what that word implies.
A group?
No, it's basically just me, and I work with other producers, but I bring them in and employ them.
You assemble them.
Yeah.
You're the Nick Fury of theatre.
I basically am.
When you say it like that, it doesn't sound bad. It's like basically am. Yeah.
Well, I basically I'm thinking that I might turn. So it's a project. So I applied for funding, and then 6 months later I applied for some more funding, and then 6 months later, and it's just like a cyclical thing.
Yeah.
And at the minute I'm thinking, well, that's not really like very. I'm not able to look like long term, because I just have to wait and apply for some more funding. So I'm thinking of turning myself into something called a community interest company, where I basically
you have to give it a snappy name.
Yeah,
a snappy company.
Well,
name.
I could just be so my thing that
like
I run
Chris
next
Funding.
To, well, yes, my thing that I run next to is called Spork.
Spork.
Yeah, which is this thing that I put on like events and workshops, and I do like a bit of artist development stuff.
Yeah.
So that's all under this umbrella called Spork. Which I want to be doing more of, because that's cool. So with Spork, I'm not really like an artist. I'm more of like a producer on that.
Yeah, sometimes I think I sometimes think to myself, what would it be like if all I did was work full time at my job and then come home and work on like my YouTube and that was it. Like, and if I ignored like my friends and family and just did that, like I sometimes wonder how far would I go. But then I also think, I kind of want to live life a bit as well. Yeah,
well, there is a lot to be said for like. I think that is a trope, and that is something that people do.
We are a bit of a hustle culture, aren't we?
Yeah, but I don't. For example, I mean, I'm also really incredibly lazy. Like I don't just sit down.
It's a miracle
and write.
you don't have anything done.
It really is. Like I don't write stuff for fun anymore.
Yeah,
I don't sit
you
down
do it as
and
a
just
chore.
like do stuff. No, I do it for work.
Yeah,
like
because you have to do it. Yeah.
Yeah, like so I don't really do things for free. Like if someone's offering me a gig or a commission, I'll write for that.
Yeah.
I don't really write things kind of in my own time anymore, which is maybe a bit of a weird way of looking at it and a bit of a shame. But also it's just been like, I'm thinking of like the last year, which has been really fucking weird, where I'm just not really, like, if I haven't got a project that I'm working on, I'm not going to waste any energy doing anything. I'm just going to lie in bed.
Yeah, see, I'm someone that always needs to like have a goal or something to do, otherwise I'll just go a bit insane. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe as any help is appreciated, and I'll see you guys later. Peace out.